Edges and tackles and receivers. Oh my, the Chiefs have to get an impact player, and it's got to be on defense today. On Locked On Chiefs.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome back, friends and neighbors. Thanks for making us your first listen here on Locked On Chiefs, your daily show for the Kansas City Chiefs on the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network in America. And we appreciate you. We couldn't get there or stay there without you guys. So thank you. You everydayers are the core of how we do that. And if you want to be an everydayer and you want the special treatment that they deserve, you can get in the Everydayers Club at lockedonchiefs.supercast.com. And you get ad-free audio, you get our Discord, you get all the intimate conversations that we tell you exactly what we think. So make sure you check that out if you want in. I'm Ryan Tracy. I am the founder of Rogue Analytics, which is draft-based metrics on athleticism and production that tell you everything that the major networks won't tell you in terms of evaluation. So check that out. My writing and my team over at NFL 33 cover the league and all the offseason hoopla, so check them as well. And we break it down on RGR in a whole different way. So rgrfootball.com is where you can find the rest of my content, as you can find Chris's over at KC Chiefs Corner. Chris Clark, 9+ years on this show, almost 10 here. We're getting there. We've been doing that together, the original hosts of a decade of this show, and we welcome you in. And if you don't know us already, you will get to know us as we listen here, because we give you shows 5 days a week. Don't forget that. We very much appreciate it. As we've covered this team from the start of the Andy Reid era, it's been a lot of up and down, and the draft has always been a major part of it, and getting impact with your first pick is always a key. We're going to start there. We're going to run you through a mock draft today with impact in mind. We're going to give you at least 5 rounds. We'll see how many trades we make, and we are going to use the PFF engine that I think right now is kind of the gold standard. We're going to play around later today with a bonus episode. We give you a bonus episode multiple times a week that's going to give you a different look, but it's all brought to you today by FanDuel. Over there, you can get a profit boost on NBA Future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook betting partner of the NBA. And I am ready to kick this off. I'm going to run the draft today so that Chris can ask his questions, and I'll just kind of do the clicking here. So let me bring that up. As we just generally start, like, how active do you want to be prior to the draft, I guess, is my first question.
I mean, we could look. I just don't think that there's any point in them possibly moving up. I just don't think there's the value for them to move up, especially not with when they only have 6 picks. If they're going to be doing any kind of moving, it has to be moving back. And I can't see Kansas City wanting to move back, because we've talked about it. Like, this is another scenario where you're dealing with probably not that many first-round picks, and I don't know that you're going to have a guy that you have a high first-round pick grade on still available at 9. That's a problem, but that's the truth.
It is. So let me get this started. We'll see where we end up. And the nice thing about PFFs here, as I've blown it up, so hopefully it's good and visible for you. Those of you listening on audio only, make sure you get over and you like and sub onto the YouTube channel, because you can see us do this in real time. And this is the first time in a long time that I've seen it fall this way, with Fernando Mendoza definitely going first, but with David Bailey going to the Jets at number 2. Followed by Caleb Downs and Arvell Reese, who I still have, as of right now, still my number 1 overall prospect is Arvell Reese, because I think he can be a Pro Bowler at 2 different positions. Then Jeremiah Love, Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, and then Mansour Delane, which leaves us the astounding possibility here of actually selecting Reuben Bain without trading up, trading down, or moving anything other than that button to fill out that call to say, take Reuben Bain. We do that, right?
Yeah. So again,
okay. Well, that would be okay.
I hate doing this because that's who we took last time, but the reality is like, no. You take Reuben Bain if he's there, and you laugh at everybody else who passed on him because they don't believe in his arm length, which we will be watching. That's going to be a huge thing that's going to be coming out in the combine. Watch for that information. And I don't really care if he has short arms. I understand that some people are going to worry about that measurement. His tape shows, I think he can get past it. He may struggle against some players, but I still think that the use of his hand fighting and his ability and his athleticism will allow him to get where you want him to go.
Yeah. And I will play into that, but also give you devil's advocacy because I said a few weeks ago, and I still believe it today. Clearly, this is an example. I think this could actually happen. I do think there are enough teams in the league that are pass rusher needy that do have him off their boards because of his length. As you look at who was taken here, yes, there was an edge rusher taken for the Jets, but that's the only other one. So there is need, and then there's screaming need. And I still believe that the Chiefs' top need is edge rusher, not defensive tackle, because I think you can get role players to fill the nose tackle role, the 0-1 tech, that allow Chris and Omar Normalot to come on together and not have to force an Normalot into that role. So I do think that this is a possibility that we could see come draft day. Is it far-fetched maybe? Yes. Does it give you a player that brings juice? Absolutely. Reuben Bain will light up that room and challenge guys. And quite frankly, I think that's some of what's needed in Kansas City. He will also bring the ability, just like George Karlaftis and just like Ashton Gelati, to be able to play multiple positions. So whoever isn't feeling it that day or whoever isn't practicing the best at edge can move inside and attack the B gaps, attack the guards, and get more pass rush pressure inside with Chris Jones as well.
Now, wait a second. You're telling me that he's going to bring leadership and attitude?
Attitude. I didn't say leadership.
Well, okay. Leadership will come with when he's been in the league for a couple of years. But his attitude is going to be something that this defensive line has not had. And I would argue, based on where he has played and how he has played, he will bring leadership regardless of whether or not he is needed to be a team leader up front. He will grow into it even more, but I think it's going to be something he's going to be bringing regardless. And the reality is this is a desperate needed position for the Chiefs. I mean, I think that there's another position on this roster that needs an infusion of talent almost as bad as defensive end, maybe multiple players at that position, but I can't see a scenario where you don't take Reuben Bain at 9 if he's sitting there.
I agree. Just for the sake of argument, I just want to highlight what this particular simulator is telling us we could garner in trade value. If we move back 2 spots, which you would lose Bain, absolutely, you could go to 11 and pick up 75. I think that's well within the realm of possibility. I doubt Baltimore would actually give up for a second pick for you, but this machine says that it will. We won't do that, but I did want to highlight those. So Reuben Bain, welcome to Kansas City. We're going to make that happen. And what we're going to make happen next is the best fit and fitment for alignment with the Kansas City Chiefs. And it just might be another edge coming up next. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert start to finish without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out your forms, find all of my expenses on the pod and everything that goes into producing all of these shows, you can meet with a local tax expert and a person, connect online, and you're in business. For a limited time, all you have to do is to get connected and have your taxes done by a local pro expert for just $150. All in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take your taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. Now, if you want even more, make sure that you get signed up and you become an everydayer. And if you want in the club, that's really where it's at to get the value out of this. Everydayer Club helps everything go around, and you can get it at lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer club, or you can go to our specific link. That's Locked On Chiefs at supercast.com. Check that, please. And you get a little bonus there. So we'll go over what's happened, but this is a scenario where you take the edge rusher, there's no doubt. And quite frankly, I think it's a good thing because when you look at what else has gone on here, you see that talent is going off. Sonny Styles was available to us. A typical player, a guy that is very, very good at his position, but a position at linebacker that I don't think the Chiefs have to stand on the table for. Cassius Howell went. Keldrick Falk went. You see this little mini run. My guy, T.J. Parker, who is probably the unsung hero of this draft class so far, he sparked in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, and he actually goes 23 here, which I think is a legitimate possibility for this draft as well. And then as we came down and started the second round, Akeem Messidor went as well. Those are my top 4 edges, all gone by the time the Chiefs are on the clock at 40. So number 9 becomes even more important to get that edge defensive impact player, and I think we did a good job there. But now the question comes back is, how do you get another one? Because I think here, Gabe Yockes is certainly an attraction. People are going to tell you that that's good. I like Zion Young's game as well for you Mizzou fans. I still a little untethered, a little hectic in the way he goes about the game, but strong enough to play in Spag's system. He's got to put a little weight on, in my opinion, but he's also got a little bit more juice as well. So you could go Tinman from Oregon, the safety that kind of fills another gap that lets some things happen, but he's not a true center fielder, in my opinion. So I'm a little trepidatious of that. Do you have a feeling here of where you want to get to?
So can you scroll back up?
Yeah.
Okay. So Tinman, Cooper.
Cooper's
I did like what I saw from Cooper Jr. in the national championship game. I don't know that he's probably worth the 40th overall pick, but I did like what I saw from him. Wide receiver is the other position I think that the Chiefs absolutely desperately need to fill. I don't know that I see the value there at 40, though. What is the trade opportunity?
And Cooper has been rising recently. I actually still like his teammate, Surratt, a little bit better, who is drastically farther down. We do have one trade offer, so the phone's ringing. What does that bring us? It's from our friends, the Broncos. And they would be willing to give us their 3rd and 4th round picks along with 62, but there's no way I'm dropping the 62 from 40. The Chiefs don't get to pick at this level very often either.
No. And quite frankly, in this draft, if you drop past 50, you may be drafting a 3rd or 4th rounder.
Agreed.
I'm not even sure you'll get a 2nd rounder at 40, to be quite honest. A guy that you have rated as a 2nd round pick, you may not get him at 40.
That's true. And I do have Tinman as a guy in the top 50, so that is legitimate. Yockes is my 5th edge, I believe. I have to double check where I've got his ranking. No, I lied. He's a little bit farther down than that. But he is an 80-plus player on my grading system. And for those of you who know the Athletic Matrix Draft Guide, that's a pretty solid grade. So I can see taking him here. I could see going Zion as well. If you felt a little bit more squirrely about him, I could see Tinman. If you're sold on Cooper, I can understand that too, because I don't think when we get back to 74, there's going to be a great pick.
I'm torn. To me, it's between Yockes and Cooper, because the reality is that they need edge desperately, and it would not hurt them to double up at the position.
Well, let's have some fun and take 2 and then not worry about it for a couple of years. And for those of you that are worried about how they get on the field, you reduce George Karlaftis inside with Chris, and you run those guys on edges. If this is the way that the scenario comes down, you rotate in Ashton Gelati unless he has a come up.
Timeout. Why would you ever question how many edges you need? Because the reality is, go look at what the Seattle Seahawks did.
Right.
They won the Super Bowl because they were able to get pressure with 4. If you can't get pressure with 4, it makes it so much harder to win. Kansas City has done it without getting pressure with 4, but it makes it a lot easier if you can get pressure with 4, because then you can drop 7 and defend the pass that way.
It certainly does. Now, at this point, there's a couple of options, particularly at wide receiver and tight end. 3 of them that I like. Claire is kind of a guy that I think went a little under the radar this year for Ohio State. He does have a partner in crime there at the position, so they kind of did a little bit back and forth. CJ Daniels, I think, has put up some good plays. Everybody doesn't seem to be as high on him coming off of the national championship game as I thought they might be. Trigg is a vertical player that can help you out in the pass game. So I think there's 3 legit areas right there that you could look at.
Tight end, it's really hard to go away from a tight end because they desperately need that too. Not addressing it with Kelce being basically one snap away from being done makes it very hard.
Right.
What about the Husky running back?
I like Joe
a little
Coleman. He's not as explosive as we need it to see in this offense. Is he a little bit more pop than Pops? Maybe, but he's not a home run hitter. He's not as fast as Smith, and I don't think he can hit the outside and scare people as much. Now, if you need a frame of reference, these three guys, Claire, Andries, and Trigg, are all my guy Dan Harm's 2, 3, and 4th prospects. So, yes, you missed out on Kenyon Sadiq, who is clearly, and I think almost unanimously, the top tight end in this class. But these guys are available, and they are the next best thing.
Yeah, but Sadiq probably won the top 20, didn't he?
Yeah, it was quite a long shot.
Right. So, I don't think you're going to be taking a tight end. It's at number 9 overall. I don't think the value's there, and he's not the type of prospect you'd want to take at 9. He's not a Kyle Pitts type. He may be good. I just think that Kyle Pitts as a prospect came out better. Falcons haven't used him. I'll be curious to see if Kansas City does that. And quite frankly, all this comes down to this is what we're guessing without knowing what they're going to do in free agency, which opens in the next couple of weeks too. So
Correct.
Maybe some of these will be addressed in some way, shape, or form. I will defer to you on which tight end you like the best. I think you have to take one of them at this point.
I'm about torn, and honestly, I like some of the sleeper guys a lot too. So I don't even have to go here. I think Daniels might be the surest bet with the least concern, but Claire you can't really go wrong with. I could see Trigg fitting into this system a little bit. So why don't we just take the best guy on the board and take best available to us because we don't need a quarterback and just take Claire and be done.
Sounds good.
Okay. That is our day 2 selections. We are not necessarily trading back, folks. If we get over the head with something good, we will definitely take care of that. But when we get back, it's on to day 3 and getting value at the positions that can help them get over the hump and get back to a Super Bowl. Defensive tackle might be it. If you ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person, FanDuel is giving you the chance to earn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost from any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right. Flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you've already looked at the board and that you're thinking about which team can make a deep run, this is the perfect time to look into it as we talk about it right now. I love the futures game because whether you're picking a team to win a championship or just grab a conference style, the extra layer of excitement in every single game, it really plays up down the stretch, and that's when you want to get the most out of it. Visit FanDuel.com today and get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook betting partner of the NBA. Now, to get that value, make sure you sign up for the Everydayer Club. I think you will appreciate it. And now we are back. We're hitting day 3 running. I have secured 109. And I think 109 is a nice place to start, to tell you the truth. It's after the comp picks. So it's not quite at the very, very top, but you're very close to the top. And the board's been reset. And you get to take stock of what you've done. And so if we're in the Chiefs situation, we filled our top need twice over. And making sure that we have a backup to a unique player, but one that does have a flaw that we need to make sure that we account for. So I feel like we're good on edge. We go back with the tight end that can come in and help Travis Kelce. Now we have to take a look at what's available next. And there is a guy on this board right now that I do believe is a difference maker. He just didn't play a full season this last season. And so there's a good size question mark on him. There's another player that's a little undersized that is exactly what we're looking for in a safety, but is 109 too early to take a safety? And do we like any of the wide receiver prospects? As you said, I agree. Wide receiver is another position they do have to go fill. Otherwise, they're going to have to do it all in free agency.
Yeah, and this goes back to one of the biggest things that we've talked about when it comes to value in the draft is you try to draft and fill holes in the draft that are going to be the most expensive to fill in free agency, which means you probably want to stick at defensive end, defensive tackle, corner, wide receiver, you get down to the 4th or 5th round, then maybe you start thinking about running backs, but that's not a huge one. So
I think we're in the muck here in terms of the wide receiver position.
Yep.
It all looks like flyers or mid-round players that I don't think are impact right now. So we're going to have to say that we went defense and sacrificed a wide receiver, hoping that the Chiefs had secured enough in free agency that we feel comfortable with that.
what are they? And it doesn't look like there's any running backs either.
Not quite yet. We can still get value later on, though. There's a couple of guys that I like here, but I will tell you this. Skylar Gill-Howard is a guy I have begun referring to as the next Turk Wharton. He's undersized. He's well-built. He's super athletic, but he's a little inconsistent, and he went from Northern Illinois to 1 year at Texas Tech, and he wasn't able to play the whole season. So there are question marks there. But he brings you pass rush. He brings you pass rush DT, and that is rare in this class. There's another guy farther down that might be available in the next round, but I'm not certain of that. Grayson Halton from Oklahoma, that I do think is a pass rush specialist in the league. I don't think he's going to hold up against the run as much. And so I don't want to take just a 2-down player, a 2nd and 3rd down pass rush DT specialist kind of guy right yet. I would rather find somebody more well-rounded like Bud Clark or Malik Muhammad, who is a good corner that I think can play in Spag's system. But Clark is the guy right here that I'm eyeing. 15 takeaways in college. He's been in my mocks the last 5, 6, 7 days. And picking him up means you are going to take the ball away more in 26 than you did in 25.
Yeah, and you're losing Brian Cook in free agency. So I'm good. Take the safety and run with it at this point. We're going to defensive draft. I'm sure that you just absolutely hate that.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible. I'm coming out of my shoes over here.
It's interesting to me that Trinidad Chambliss is still sitting there, and I'm sure that has something to do with his college stuff that they're still trying to work through. But not saying that the Chiefs should take him, but that's interesting nonetheless.
Tampa Bay would give us some extra picks if we wanted to drop back, but I don't see any reason to. And I do think you're absolutely right. I think Chambliss, if he is secured into this draft, I think he will be a guy that rises high on day 2 and maybe even to day 1 as the 2 other quarterbacks in this class are hard to find.
It's just too bad he can't rise to the top 10 because that would
but we can always hope. I mean, we can start a campaign or something. We can work on it. As we take a look down here, nobody's standing up that I think we have to do. There's another tight end prospect, but we already went there. I know you mentioned running back, so we're going to pull that up real quick. Mike Washington from Arkansas is an option I think could do some things. Roman Hemby is the other quote-unquote running back. And the guy that is the deal breaker, the speed breaker, is Kalen Black, who I don't think is getting enough respect in this ranking. He should be.
I liked Black in the national championship game.
Okay, let's pigeonhole him for next one. We have one more pick here, folks. Let's take the best player we can take and say that we've predetermined we're going to be able to get our guy at running back. So that comes back to Lon Claiborne. No, I'm sorry, Eric Rivers. Wrong guy. The logos for Wake and Georgia Tech always throw me off. Don't need another edge. I think we're good. Kilgore is a corner that I think could go to safety if he had to. I think he could play in Spag's system as well.
We're at 146. I just want to throw this out there. What about the linebacker? I know it's not a specific need, but is the linebacker that is
Trey?
There
Trey Moore or Aiden Fisher?
Either.
I mean, if I remember correctly, and linebackers are not at the top of my list, this is like a little undersized and a little bit, I don't want to say slow, but less explosive than I would like from a guy that is going to add could be the departure of Drew Tranquil. Like I want more of an athlete at that position, in my opinion.
Fair enough. I'm just looking outside the box since we're down here in the weeds. You want to take best player available, even if it's not something that you specifically think. And I also think that there's a possibility that you could need 2 starting linebackers for the Chiefs, because right now I don't think there's a possibility Drew Tranquil will not be back, and I cannot see Chenal back unless they free up a lot more cap space.
I agree. My guy, Harold Perkins, I always leave on the board as an option because I like his athleticism. He was an elite pass rusher from the linebacker level his first season at LSU. has kind of fallen off on a steady decline since then. He does remind me size-wise more of Bassa. He's a little light. He might be a nickel linebacker type, but the coverage isn't exactly as innate as the pass rush is for him. So I think the interesting guy here could be Bryce Lance, Trey's brother, played at the same school. We could go with another Red Raider. You can't really go wrong if you're Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure he'd be pretty happy with that. I'm trying to look if anybody else is standing out to me here so we can make this selection and get to our last pick. Malachi Lawrence is another edge. It's interesting. Tanner Koziel, you guys have seen me take before as an option.
I think you take Lance's brother and go.
Yeah, you want to try that? Okay. I can live with that. Let's give it a shot, except I'm scrolling too fast. There we go. And that's going to take us down to our last pick at 176. And I'm guessing, I should be pretty safe, that Kalen Black is going to be there from Indiana, a guy that is home run capable. And that's, I think, at the running back spot, that's what you're looking for. This would be a very similar selection. And I'm sorry, Roman Hemby, I'm going to pass you by for your teammate.
I don't think he's there anymore.
I think he is. I think he's a little lower down. He is. So we're going to put Kalen Black on the roster, and we're going to call that done. Now, there's some overlap there. There's some Rashard Smith duplication there, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion. So if you don't like Kalen Black, you probably hate this draft, and that's okay.
The system does not like that draft pick.
Well, that's because they had him in the 230s. They're wrong, so I ain't too worried about what they think. But I think this comes together as this is a fill your needs draft. This assumes that they took care of a starting wide receiver and probably a backup right tackle already in free agency.
And I also think that this also assumes that they probably did something to running back. Like, it doesn't have to be you still need a running back regardless of whether or not you sign a running back. You're more than likely going to draft one and sign one. So to me, it doesn't really matter. You're going to need a running back regardless, and because you only have Rashard Smith really on the roster right now.
I think that works. We watched it fall, and we did a little dance, took Reuben Bain with our first pick at number 9, filled the edge need, can come in and rush.
I'd be dancing if we get Reuben Bain at 9.
I'm going to hold you to that. We came back, and just in case, we went Gabe Yockes as well. Get 2 edges for the price of 1 draft. When you're picking in the top 10 of each round, you might as well take care of it. Came back with Max Clark in the 3rd. Get that tight end depth and keep working on trying to find a successor. And then, just like Jaden Hicks early on day 3, we went safety again with Bud Clark, a guy that takes the ball away in college, and we want to see him do it again at the pro level. And then we took a chance on Bryce Lance, Trey's brother, to try to see what he can bring from the NDSU herd to us. And Kalen Black, a running back with pop, is probably not giving him enough credit.
Yeah, and I like the Kalen Black pick. I do think that it's what you saw in the national championship game could be something that will help the Chiefs. He doesn't have to be a full-time back year 1. Again, like I said, I think that they're going to sign somebody, but you're going to need multiple different players at that position. And if you could get to a point where you find a defensive tackle in free agency, and this is the draft you get, you almost fixed your defensive line in 1 draft, in 1 offseason. Almost. I still think you need another defensive tackle probably, but if you can get a good defensive tackle to step in, then you have you have to feel pretty good about 3, because you'll have Norman Lott is back as well, and you got to feel good about your pass rush with Karlaftis and Bain and Yockes and Gelati. I mean, I think that's a pretty solid unit, and I think Gelati is going to be a lot better in year 2 than he was in year 1, and he looked better as the season went on in year 1.
Agreed. And remember, the Chiefs could trade back on any of these picks. If they're able to pick up a pick between 100 and 120, they have more options for pass rushing specific type defensive tackles. They have options in the 2nd round if they don't go back-to-back edges to go with a 0 tech that can take some of that pressure off of Omar Norman Lott. So there's a lot of options there. We'd like to have your feedback. If you'd leave us a note with what you think of this draft, leave your comments down below on the YouTube channel. And if you're not there, make sure you get over to the Discord and just sign up for the Everydayer Club, and that'll get you in. We appreciate your time. This is a fun process. We're going to look at something slightly different for the bonus show today. So make sure you check that out as well. It'll be on YouTube a little bit later and in your audio feed as well. But we can't say thank you enough. Check out FanDuel, our sponsor of the day. We appreciate your time. It's a whole new week. The combine is coming, and we're going to run it down for you as we get ready all week long. Have a good one. We'll talk to you tomorrow.